If you choose courage instead of fear, this era of loneliness will be the best thing to ever happen to you. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Lily and I help you heal from breakups and toxic relationship patterns. So today, this topic has really been on my heart and my mind lately, and I thought I just need to film a video about it because loneliness honestly changed my life. And the loneliest times in my life have been when my relationship either wasn't going well and there was a lot of distance within the relationship, or I just got broken up with. And these times were so hard to go through, but every time I came out of it, I was a better person. I was a stronger person. The loneliness changed me in a positive way, but that's only if you actually commit to making something out of that loneliness. If you just sulk and sit in those feelings and don't even try, then of course it's going to be a very difficult time for you. But if you actually do something about the loneliness, you will come out the other side a better and stronger person. And I am so thankful, even though those moments, those times of loneliness were so hard and I would cry every single day, they changed me for the better, and I learned some really important lessons, and I'm thankful for that time. The hardest era of loneliness, and the one that was most difficult to transform, was when I was in college and I was dating my first boyfriend at the time, and our relationship was really just going downhill. We definitely had that anxious attachment trap dynamic that was going on. I wanted to be closer to him, but he was pulling away. He even felt like making plans would give him anxiety. That's why he never wanted to make plans with me, which hurt me. Before he even told me that, there was just more and more distance growing between us, and I still wanted to be with him. I loved him, but I also wanted him to reach out to me. So then I would go and I would wait for him to reach out, to text or call, and I wouldn't hear from him at all. And sometimes the worst that it got was we would go 2 weeks without talking. Sometimes it would be him reaching out, but a lot of that times it was me. I couldn't take it anymore. I finally just decided to reach out after 2 weeks, and yet I wanted to stay in this relationship, and yet I thought it was still a relationship, and it really wasn't. And so I was very lonely at this time because in addition to the relationship going downhill, I didn't feel like I had really good close friends, or at least not a big group around me at this time in college, and I didn't really feel like I had anyone, and so it was really difficult for me. And so what I did at that time was I found comfort in food. And that's actually around the time that I decided to go vegan, which is interesting because I found comfort in food. I did gain some weight, which was uncomfortable for me because I have always been very petite, and even though it wasn't a lot of weight, and this isn't a video about weight, that did impact me on a mental level as well. But the reason that was happening was because I was so sad and upset, and that's the thing that was bringing me comfort. So I did a lot of cooking, I did a lot of eating, and it was an unhealthy amount, disordered type, and I did a lot of watching Friends, ironically. So like I mentioned, it really didn't help not having a lot of close friends, and I've never been one to have like a huge group of friends because I've always prioritized the quality of the friendship more than the quantity. Not saying that you can't have quality friendships with a lot of people, but I would rather have fewer really good friends than a bunch of not as close friends. So during this time, it was difficult because two of like good close friends, we all had different schedules. It was college, all busy. I had a lot of things going on. Luckily, we were all in dance team together, so we got to see each other every other day, at least a few times a week, so that was great. But still, not having that really quality time outside of dance was missing, and that's important too. And quality time being my #1 love language, like, that's important. But the only way that I got out of that period of loneliness was finally cutting it off with that partner. He actually broke up with me around January, February time, but we continued to see each other basically as if we were still in a relationship, which was so hard for me. I was holding on to it because I was like, it's basically a relationship. He wants to call it friends, but we're still practically in a relationship. He wants to see me more now. So in my delusional brain, I was like, we'll just call it, you're just friends. But in my head, it's a relationship. And then that went on. Of course, I was getting hurt. I don't want to go into all those details right now, but I'm definitely going to talk about those another time. And so through that time, eventually it got so bad that I had to let him go. It hurt so much, but I knew that I couldn't deal with the pain any longer. And so after that point, after that long period of loneliness, I loved his family. And also on my birthday, I had no plans really. I spent my birthday with his family, which I'm so grateful for them. But also, I was young. I was like 20 years old. I should have friends, my peers that I'm seeing on a regular basis. There was a lot missing in my life. Even though I went through that whole period of loneliness, after that breakup, I felt more free. Even though it hurt so much, I felt more free and I was able to explore. I felt like I was holding myself back because I didn't want to not be loyal or do anything that would be considered wrong in some way because of other things that had happened in the relationship. And so then I was able to allow myself to explore and make new friends and like put myself out there. And so that's how that period of loneliness ended, was because I cut off that relationship that was holding me back and making me feel horrible. And it's not all his fault. I was definitely complicit in that as well, 100%. But also I was able to give myself permission then, instead of just sitting in the loneliness, to go and try new things, to meet new people. I made some really great friends and had good times and was able to really put myself out there and get more of that real college experience. So I'm so grateful for that, and that's just one example of loneliness. We'll move on to a couple more because I promise it gets even better. It gets even better. The second period of loneliness was tough too. My second boyfriend and I, we broke up literally like the weekend before medical school started, and I had gone back. He wanted me to go back and see him. I wasn't planning on this relationship being over, but I went back the weekend before school started, spent some time with him, and that's when we broke up. And it makes sense, it's long distance. There were other things that had gone on in the relationship, and I'll probably talk about that at another point, but like, I really wasn't expecting it, and also it made sense to break up at that point because it was long distance and there were just so many more difficulties or challenges standing in the way. So we broke up, and then my new roommate, when I was gone, the people that were here and my new roommate, they had gone on this fun trip. It was a camping trip and I missed out on it. And when I came back, I felt like things had changed. And like, this is so early on in the time that I was entering medical school and trying to meet new people and make new friends. And I just felt like an outsider again. And my roommate at the time, she was leaving the house super early, coming back super late at night. Like, we're just weird things. So I was alone and I didn't really understand why I was alone. I didn't understand why it felt like I was getting cut out, and I didn't even know if there was a problem. I didn't know if something was wrong. And I tried to have conversations about this with her, and this is gonna go off on another tangent that I'm not gonna get into right now. But basically, I felt like I was cut off from my roommate. I was cut out of what I felt like practically my whole new cohort, my new class in medical school. And so I felt very alone, because going to naturopathic medical school, I thought that I was gonna find my people. Like, all have these similar interests, backgrounds. Like, I thought like this was gonna be it. This was like my tribe. These were gonna be my people. And I was so excited for that, and like excited to create a family and really like have that sense of belonging with these people. And then to get cut out like that, and for not even knowing why, like, feeling like I had no reason or understanding of what happened, that was so hard for me. And so luckily I did have like a small group of friends, and like, we did get to know each other and bond more. But like that early period when that was all happening, it was really difficult and I felt very lonely. But because of that, I got to make other friends. I got to give myself pep talks and get myself through this difficult time. Like, I made a video to myself telling myself, and I've posted this on my Instagram, like, this is for you. Don't let anybody else ruin your experience. You're amazing. Just telling myself all the things I needed to hear, because who else was going to tell me that? So I had to tell it to myself, right? And get myself through it. But with that experience, I learned that one, I could find other people. Two, that like, I can support myself. and be that cheerleader for me. And this was on a lower level scale, but like I was able to get through it, and it showed me that like I could be strong. But the last one, this last time of very, very severe loneliness, was the most transformative and really helped me on my healing journey and helped me get to where I am today. But those other two pieces were vital as well, because each time you go through a challenge like that, you grow and you get to trust yourself more and you learn more about yourself. So those were things that like needed to happen for me. They were part of the journey, and if they hadn't happened, then I wouldn't be where I am today. And lastly, the hardest period of loneliness that I ever went through, but the most transformative time, was after my second year of medical school. We took NCLEX 1, which is the first board exam, huge exam, and then after that exam, you have like 6 weeks where you're taking only 3 or 4 classes, which is a huge drop off from taking 10 classes at a time. So I had all this extra time. Before that, the person that I was seeing, who you could say, I wouldn't say it was like a full-on situationship because it wasn't defined, but it was close to a situationship. They decided to just leave the country and stay for an extended period and not really tell me when they were coming back. And I think that was a commitment issue and or avoidance issue, but that's a thing for another time. Definitely some emotional avoidance there, definitely commitment issues. And so what had happened before that is like things were getting closer and closer to making it seem like we were actually gonna be in a relationship. And it wasn't that I was relying on him, but I did have this idea and expectation that like, yeah, something was gonna come from this. And then he left and was gone for a long time, and just like it wasn't working out, and it was very clear to me like, okay, this isn't happening. This is not happening. I'm without him. At the same time, my best friend from school decided to drop out at that point. We stopped talking. And then at the same time, the other friends that I had made within the program, my good friends, they had either dropped out or dropped to a slower pace program. So they were no longer in my class, in my cohort, doing all the classes with me. And so I found myself very alone. And on top of this, my good friends and roommates at the time, they decided to spend the summer away in Chicago. And so I was literally home alone by myself, completely by myself, when normally I live with other people. And I didn't have the man that I was dating. I didn't have my best friend at the time. I lost my other close good friends in my class, and it was like I was truly completely alone, and I'm living in another state. I don't have any other friends or family here. I was 100% alone, and I had so much free time, which literally would have been the best thing ever. It would have been so fun if I still had these people around, because we could have done so many fun things. And so I had so much time to just like be alone and sit and sulk, and it was bad. And it truly wasn't just sulking. I was so lonely. I was crying at least a few times a week, and I reached out to some people that were like I thought would be like a good friend group, my new friends, and they did turn out to be that. But I would reach out and like to make plans, and like either wouldn't really get a response, or like nobody was available, and it was just weird. And then like, they had met up at another time, and like, I didn't get the invite, and because like we didn't know each other that well at that time too. But I just felt very alone, and I even felt kind of like I was trying to make efforts and they weren't being received. So during this time though, I also, when I realized that that man was gonna be gone, that was the end, I decided to, actually it wasn't quite then, but I decided to just go out and have fun. I found out this place, Rebel Lounge here in Phoenix, found out that there was a Taylor Swift like night, and this was before the Eras tour, so things were like, still all love Taylor Swift, but she wasn't even as huge as she is now. And so I had seen that they did that in like January of the year, and like I knew they were gonna do another one this summer, and I saw it was happening like that. I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so much fun. I don't have anyone to go with. Like I didn't have any Swiftie friends anyways, but I'm like, I'm just gonna go alone, because you're gonna be surrounded by fun, good people if you're going to a Taylor Swift like DJ theme night. Like you're gonna meet, like, you're gonna be fine, okay? And so I went alone, and that was like one of the first times where I realized that I could do something alone. Like, I could go and have fun alone. So I went there, I said hi to a few people, I met a couple girls, and I ended up hanging out with them for the whole night. And then we left at the same time. They were super sweet and like, they were cool. And then it was still kind of early, so I decided to just go out to this like bar that had live music, and I just enjoyed myself. I went there for the vibes, just to like listen to music. I don't drink, so I didn't drink or anything, just water. Got to talk to some people and had a good time. And when I got home, I was like, wow, that was really fun. Like, that showed me that I could do things by myself and still have fun. So like, you can be alone and also not be lonely. And so I really embrace that. And that's something that I still carry with me today, because being able to do things alone and have fun and enjoy your own company is so, so important. And it's such a great lesson to learn, because then you never truly have to be lonely. Because if you know how to enjoy your time, enjoy yourself, then you'll never be lonely, because you'll always have you. Please learn that. This was also the time where I realized I kept ending up in the same situation. And I was so tired of it. I was done. I was like, why do I keep ending up here? Why do I keep ending up like being left? Why am I like alone? Why am I not good enough? All of these things. And that's when I was able to really dive into myself and identify those subconscious beliefs and work through them during this time of aloneness, during this time of solitude. And because I wasn't drinking, and because I wasn't going out and like getting on the dating apps or partying or doing drugs or like just embracing watching movies all day or like TikTok. I mean, I'm sure I watched a lot of like social media and stuff like that, but still I invested into me. I didn't just numb away the feelings and the pain. I didn't just try to in some way. I actually faced myself, and that is the key. That is how you turn this period of loneliness into something that is going to make you better, into something useful. And if you actually invest into moving what it is that you want forward in every area of your life. Like, it doesn't have to just be your love life. It doesn't just have to be your friendship. It could also be your business. It could also be your hobbies. It could also be ways of like self-care, going to the gym, or just like making time for yourself every single week. Like, if you build on these practices and these habits, like, you will have a fuller life, and it will be because of that period of loneliness, a period of time where you can just focus on you. Like, that is so amazing about a time of loneliness, is like, there are not many times in life where you are the only one that you have to take care of. You're the only one whose opinion matters. You're the only one who like you have to take into consideration. It's an opportunity. If you see it as an opportunity, then you can grow from it. So really, I took this time to build up the foundations for myself, really dig into who am I. Like, that was a thing that I didn't even know about myself. That was another question that I had, is like, do I even know who I am? Do I even know what I want? I had years, my whole life of people pleasing and doing what other people wanted, and this was a catalyst. It didn't all happen at once. It didn't all happen in this period of loneliness, but again, it set the foundation for everything that I was trying to grow and everything that happened afterward, and what led me to actually heal myself and find the love within me that I was searching for. So yes, eventually my roommates did come back, and it was amazing, and it was so good. And also, I made new friends. Like, I built a relationship with that friend group, and like some of the people were still really close, and like one of them is one of my great friends, and like it was so important to rebuild that group too. And it was a more aligned group for what I was doing at the time and like my goals. It was so important to have them through the rest of medical school as well. So thank you guys. I love you if you're watching this. I just want to let you know that. So yeah, it was really important. And then just learning the lessons of what I needed to about being alone or not having a partner, and also like learning to be okay without having a partner. And that's something I learned at a later time, and I'll go into that too on another video. But all of these great things came out of a period of loneliness. And that's one thing to remember, is that it's just a period. It's just a phase of life. You're not going to be alone forever. The only way that you're going to be alone forever is if you never try. Don't put yourself out there in any kind of way. And if you want to learn more about like how to put yourself out there, how to make better connections, like let me know in the comments, because I will 100% go over that. Because I wasn't like that. I didn't put myself out there like that at first. Like I was scared. I didn't talk to strangers or anything. Like that was such a transformative time of my life, and I'm so thankful for it. And so that's the main thing I want you to know, is that like this period of loneliness is just a period, and you can grow from it, and it could be the best thing to happen to you, and your life could change drastically if you put in the work, if you decide that this is what you want. It's seriously like being a caterpillar in a cocoon. This is your cocoon period. Like you are gonna come out a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. You allow yourself to transform. If you allow yourself to morph into the butterfly, then you can arise out of the cocoon beautiful. And you're already beautiful, but you know what I mean, like an even more abundant version of yourself. You can do it. Just the fact that you are watching this video means that you have it within you to do that. You can become the person you want to be. You can create the connections you want to create. You just have to put yourself out there. You just have to decide and commit to that. And also, loneliness is more than about not having people. It's about having the right people and the right connections that actually fill you up and fill your soul. And you can find those people. You can do it. Just put yourself out there, because there's a limiting belief that there's nobody else out there that's going to understand you. There's nobody that's like on your level that really gets you and that has like the same value as you and like the same. But there's so many people, and there are so many people that you can connect with if you allow them in and you allow yourself to put yourself out there and be vulnerable and open up and like have deeper conversations. And I had a conversation with somebody else about how like it's hard to find like your soul people that you just totally like vibe with, or your main people. And it's like, I believe that, but even having that conversation with that person, like I was getting to know them more and like seeing them more and having a better with them. And even within that conversation, I was like, yes, like I had this belief that it is hard to find those people, but at the same time, look, I'm discovering that person within you right now. I'm discovering that person that we're vibing on the same level, and I didn't even realize that we would. I didn't even realize that we could before that. Like maybe on freelance, I wouldn't think so. But as I've gotten to know you on a deeper level, and I didn't to them, but like I was in real time, like I am this connection with this person, because it's not like I could build that connection. Actually, I think that's another limiting belief that is about to break right now. It's like, it's not you can build that connection with anybody, but maybe you really can if you just get to a deep enough level. Because we all have stories, we all have backgrounds, we all have things that we can relate to each other on. And we respond different ways to different life situations, but we've had a lot of similar life experiences. Even if different, there's a lot of similarities between them. Even if you grew up one way and another way, like we are all human. And I'm going off on another tangent, but like we are all human. This is the human experience. We are living the human experience. And so if you make an effort, even try another person who you feel like is so different from you, who you feel like you could never connect with maybe, and actually make an effort to get to know who they are as a person and allow yourself to be seen for who you are, and see if maybe something can come from that. So going back to that other conversation with that person, I was realizing, oh, I think that like there aren't a lot of soul tribe people, but I was seeing that person like grow, sprout, that kind of relationship develop right in front of my eyes. So why would I believe that? Why would I believe that there aren't that many people or types of relationships out there? Like there is so much more, and that's like, you're seeing this in real time. Like that's a realization that's still developing in my own brain. I'm not saying that you are gonna vibe with everyone, like there are different people, but I bet you can form some kind of connection with every single person in some way. And I think that's what life is about. Life is about building meaningful connections. Connect with yourself in order to connect with others. And if you want to work with me as a client, I do offer free consultations. I'll also put the link below. It's also linked on my channel page. So if you want to dive into yourself, dive into your limiting beliefs, break through those limiting beliefs and create better connections, definitely check that out. Again, my name is Dr. Lily. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe. I'm definitely gonna make more videos on loneliness. You can also check out my other videos if you're going through a breakup or have a history of toxic relationship patterns or wanna overcome your attachment style. Please go check those out, and I will see you next time.